on to question 11, Honourable Member Miss Edge.
Thank you, Mr President. I'd like to ask the Minister for Infrastructure, in pursuant of his answer to question 89 in Tynwald in September 2020, when the structural reports on Governor's Bridge dip will be published.
Call the Minister's reply. Mr Baker.
Thank you, Mr President. Mr President, as the Honourable Member will be aware, the Governor's Bridge dip is not routinely used and therefore not routinely inspected. A visual structural inspection was carried out prior to the dip being brought into operation and photographs were taken. These form the record and are now available on the government's website. There were no structural concerns, so the road was brought back into service for the very short period of the southbound closure on the promenade, which ceased early last month.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Mr President. I thank the Minister for that. And I noted with interest, actually, there was a few photographs went up with regards to Governor's Bridge dip on the 15th of October after the question had been put in. However, I do have concerns that the Minister says there's no continued maintenance report done on the structure of the bridge, because anybody could use that bridge at any point in time, and it's quite clear from the photographs that there's a culvert there, and I'm aware from the inspections list, which is very difficult to read, that the department do publish, that culverts get inspected. So can the Minister advise why he would not routinely do the Governor's Bridge dip culvert, and when is he going to publish the reports that were requested with regards to the structures and the engineering reports? Thank you, Mr President.
Mr Baker.
Thank you, Mr President. I think the Honourable Member may have answered her own question there, because we're talking about the Governor's Bridge dip, which is a highway structure, rather than the culvert, which she's just referred to. But what I would say, Mr President, is this section of road has not been used for many years and has no significant structures within it. There was an inspection carried out in July 2020 prior to the reintroduction of vehicular traffic. A visual inspection was carried out of the route to confirm that the highway was fit for vehicular use. The date of the inspection was recorded by the inspector, photographs were taken and logged, but no formal report was deemed necessary. Normally, for general inspections of structures, there is a written narrative of the inspection. However, because the road is out of service, this is not the case. For honourable members, the photographs can be found online via the media section of the government website under the reference 1370518/Governor's Dip Inspection Photographs July 2020.pdf, and it looks as though the honourable member has already beaten me to that, and she's already seen them, and I'm pleased that they're already there. Thank you.
Final supplementary, Miss Edge.
Thank you, Mr President. Previously in an answer, the Minister said that he would publish the report that was carried out. I believe it was carried out in June. So therefore, why would he not publish this now and just publish a few photographs, which he obviously thinks are adequate for a structural report on the bridge? And also with regards to his comments on culverts, his inspection list on highways clearly covers culverts which are underneath a highway. So the Minister perhaps needs to check, with regards to that comment on culverts, it's underneath a highway and it gets checked. But can the Minister advise with regards to ongoing inspections and weight limits, if any full inspection has been done on Governor's Bridge, or a report, although he says it's not a used road, anybody could drive down there at any point in time, perhaps illegally, Mr President, but clearly it's his department's duty to make sure the infrastructure of the roads in our island are inspected and reported on.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr President. I think the Honourable Member for Onchan's misunderstanding what I've said. It was inspected in July. It was a visual inspection prior to the dip being brought into operation, and photographs were taken. It's a photographic report. Those are the record, that's the report. There were no structural concerns, so the road was brought back into service for the period that it was required. It's now not required, and it's now not in service.
Final question. Miss Edge, you wanted to come back.
Thank you, Mr President.
Last opportunity.
Thank you very much. Minister, I'm struggling to understand, when you're the Minister for Infrastructure, that you feel a visual and a photograph is adequate for a civil engineering structure on the island. And I would hope that the Minister can provide better records of what has actually been carried out on our highways. Thank you, Mr. President.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, the question was about the Governor's dip. I've already published the work that was carried out there. The honourable member's already seen it. It's perfectly adequate. Professionally, it was inspected by people who know what they're looking at. Photographs were taken. There were no structural concerns. I don't know what more I can say, Mr. President.